The AM show talked to Winston Peters, and it's only, look, you can see it's only kind of two and a half minutes. Talked to Winston Peters about National putting up those adverts, and it was in the thumbnail of tonight's episode, putting up the adverts that basically are warning about a second election. Stupidest thing any political party's ever done. So the AM show asked Mr. Peters about the advertising campaign that National has launched, basically to say, don't vote Winston.
Let's move to politics, and the National Party they've taken out these ads in the papers over the weekend, and they read, imagine no clear election winner, 8 weeks of coalition talks, a stalled economy, nothing gets done, don't risk the uncertainty to guarantee a change of government. Party vote National.
Look, when I first saw that comment by Bishop, I thought, somebody's trying to set me up. This cannot be true. He will not have said that. And then I found out that he had said it, that Luxon was doubling down, and so was Seymour, and this was colossal in this context. Look, first of all, the last negotiations took 11 days, not
specials.
8 weeks. Yeah, 11 days, that's it. Well, it took Germany 5 months after us. They had election day after us. It took them 5 months after us to get the job done. You see what I mean? This efficiency.
But it's taken you longer in the past.
No, it hasn't. It has not. This is 2023.
Okay, bold-faced lie, I'll show you shortly. He just said it took you longer in the past, and Winston said, no, it hasn't. Bold-faced lie.
The last outing is your last record, like the All Blacks will know.
He's trying to say you can only be judged based on your last outing. Horse shit.
And the second thing is, I thought, this is terribly inexperienced, and they will need experience now. It was a scaremongering of the worst sort. And what's deplorable about it? 500,000 people have voted. How dare you go out and say to them, you could be just wasted your time, and then you're doing it to the rest as well. And this
it's actually a fair comment from Winston. It's pretty piss poor that election is opening.
Has never, ever happened any time in New Zealand's democracy since 1854.
Yeah.
There's not a, can I just say, look,
he knows that
this
he
is
was
not
there.
Amateur hour. People will need experience, and boy, did they demonstrate that.
All right, so you're promising that you'll get a deal done with them.
Well, we got to.
Nothing will stop it on your side.
Look,
what about a time limit on negotiations? That might shut that side of it up.
But no, but you don't say that. See, they say that the economy will stop when there's negotiations. Now,
that's enough. That's enough. So here's the story.
I can't think of anyone less equipped to interview Winston Peters than Ryan Bridge.
Here's a story from 2006 from the Herald. Election day, October 12th, 1996, 3 years after New Zealanders voted for a new electoral system. They ticked their new and more confusing ballot papers and delivered 120 men and women into Parliament. So October the 12th, right? What their voting did not deliver immediately was a government. Instead, negotiations would drag on until December the 10th, when National and New Zealand first announced a coalition deal to form a government that would, after a fashion, survive the next 3 years. So October, November, December. So close to 2 months, so 8 weeks. So that's what that references. And if you don't remember this, I kind of don't remember it, but I know it well enough. Winston went on a fishing trip. So Winston wasn't getting what he wanted, and he literally went off and went fishing for a period of time rather than staying negotiating. So Winston saying there, that's never happened before, utter horseshit, utter horseshit. And, sorry?
Bull
Yep.
dust.
Boulder Dash. So I don't know why he's trying to say it's not happened in the past. It has happened in the past. And Winston Peters is always the difficult person when it comes to these situations. So I don't hold his word with any kind of regard that he says he's going to make sure he makes the decision. But that's what he's saying. And trust him at your peril would be my suggestion, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I got a couple of rapid fire things to wrap up the show if you like.
I have got one other clip we could play, which is should Luxon have called out Winston? Should I've got one other little one. If we wanted to play that, are you interested in it? It's from Q&A.
Yeah, of course.
Every Monday show we have to have something from Q&A, don't we? Isn't that the rules?
Yes.
So this just wraps up actually the whole thing about the second election. I mean, what strategy person thought the second election announcement would be a good idea? So before there's an election, tell the people there might be a second election. That person should lose their job. So this is Q&A in the weekend, just to wrap up the Winston Peters conversation. Q&A in the weekend, finding out about should Luxon have ruled out Winston 3 months ago, 6 months ago.
Was it a mistake for Christopher Luxon not to rule out working with Winston Peters?
I think he should have done it earlier if that was the position. That would have been my view. It sort of meant that it was so late that it became an issue late in the campaign when people actually were focused on it.
So is the left bloc done for, do you think, next weekend?
And this is interesting because we've talked about this and people have brought up the idea about the Greens going with National, and we've said all the way, I've said all the way through, it was like when the Māori Party went with National, they were decimated the next time. It would decimate them. And Sue Bradford answers that now. I guess maybe not from the inside, but from someone who has been on the inside of the Greens.
No, I refuse to be defeatist. I think one of the biggest things, the biggest problems for the left bloc campaign has been a sense of cynicism and defeat. I love the Action Station campaign, which says get out, each of us try and get another 2 or 3 people to vote. Just getting the vote out, the undecided vote, and the people that feel defeated. That's really important. We have to offer hope and say, actually, it's not all lost. Every single vote that goes to Te Pāti Māori, to the Greens, to Labour, that's going to help create a more compassionate, empathetic society. It's our only hope in the face of these divisive and racist and the prospect of what could happen with the kind of government
so let's talk about options here for supporters of that so-called left bloc. Do you think the Greens membership would feasibly consider any sort of support deal with National?
No.
Why not?
Because it's just the opposite of almost all Green Party policy. I do understand National, and it's been on the table in the Green Party back in my day too. Some people did support such a deal. That National could offer post-election a whole lot of wonderful environmental options. But I believe now that the Green Party membership and MPs as a majority would never accept the deal that would accept the other side of National's policies in terms of tax cuts, of their policies on housing and the rest of it.
I suppose the counter-argument to that is that those things are going to happen regardless, right? So if National forms a government with ACT and or New Zealand First, those tax cuts are going to come through, those other social policies are going to happen. So the Greens could feasibly, at least on current polling, form a two-party support deal with National, whereby they at the very least had some concessions on climate change policy. And if climate change is this existential threat that the Greens constantly tell us it is, surely making progress in that space is more important.
This is the devil speaking. Many Green parties overseas have made that mistake and gone with right-wing parties into coalitions in Europe and other places. It's a huge mistake. It would destroy the Green Party in this country if it took that step, and I think they know it.
It would destroy the Green Party in New Zealand if they took that step.
It
Sue
would never
Bradford has
happen.
spoken. No, it won't never
Because,
happen. But that's
because
the truth,
that sort of decision has to go to Green Party membership. They'd never go for it. Like, of all the parties, like we were talking about this earlier in the year when the Greens had their issues. The big thing with the Greens is that they are incredibly transparent. You know, their processes are all open. And in any sort of coalition agreement, they would take that to their membership. And I can tell you that their membership will not fucking go for it.
Yeah.
There's just no way. And that's why everybody's so certain. But they go, oh, yeah, but what if? It doesn't matter. Because their membership will say no.